After 7 long years, it has happened. The much anticipated, much speculated, much clickbaited return of the voice of the voiceless happened. CM Punk is all elite. In late 2020, Punk was asked about a potential in-ring return by Renee Paquette on the Oral Sessions podcast, an excellent podcast. If you haven't listened to it already, link in the description below. She asked him directly about what it would take for him to make the in-ring return. This was his response.
Above all, an interesting scenario, a story that would be fun to tell.
Now, whatever the financial side of this deal may be, you'd have to imagine it's not the first time Punk has been offered the sort of money he's about to be getting. So it must be the characters, the storylines that have drawn him back to actually make his in-ring return. And in which case, it's no surprise that AEW is the promotion he's gone for. Since its inception in 2019, All Elite has built a hugely diverse and deep roster full of brilliant new people for CM Punk to work with. So here are the 3 perfect opponents for CM Punk in AEW. Number 1, the Teased. Let's be real, AEW haven't exactly been shy when it's come to teasing the potential imminent arrival of CM Punk. We've had t-shirts, we've had crowd charts, we've even had referential promos from certain loudmouthed individuals, but none have been more blatant than the one from your boy, the face-painted sensation himself, Darby Allin. In a backstage interview to promote the first dance itself, Darby had this to say.
You know, I've been around a lot of men in this world that have laid claim to how they're the greatest. And there's only one place to really prove that. Right here in AEW. Even if you think you are the best in the world.
Darby Allin has undoubtedly been one of AEW's biggest success stories so far. Starting back in Fyter Fest 2019 with a time limit draw against Cody, he's gone from strength to strength, being one of the promotion's breakout stars. Fantastic individual matches, and he's even had a TNT title reign that, although started slowly due to his involvement with Sting and the feud with Team Taz, ended in back-to-back Dynamite after Dynamite main events that were, for lack of a better term, absolute dynamite themselves. Darby is a big deal. So it should come as no surprise that during his first ever AEW promo, CM Punk replied to Darby Allin. He looked up at the rafters, called him out, and challenged him to a match at All Out, because it could be the perfect place for CM Punk to start his AEW career. Darby's currently at the stage where he's big enough to fight for the world title, but so big he would probably have to win, and I don't know if it's the right time for that. He can't really go back to the TNT title scene, given he's already had an amazing run with that belt, and also don't take it off Miro. Just don't. He's too good. Don't take it off Miro. And as well as he works with Sting, and actually, now I think about it, a tag team title match with Sting and the Young Bucks would be super fun. I don't know if a tag team title reign with Sting is going to be in the offing anytime soon. A competitive loss against Punk doesn't harm Darby. In fact, it probably benefits him, putting him in front of mainstream eyes at Punk's first pay-per-view back would be good for him, I feel. Equally, Punk winning against Darby instantly puts him back in a good position to build to bigger and better things. I think this would just work out all round. Lovely stuff. Number 2, the long term. We all know CM Punk can go in the ring. That's not in doubt, but probably his best trait is on the microphone. That guy can talk like very few other people can. Dare I say he's genuinely one of the best in the world? You know what I mean? And when it comes to some of the best talkers in pro wrestling today, AEW does have some of the greats. Depressingly, one of them is Maxwell Jacob Friedman. MJF has been in AEW since the very beginning, since it was a single show just called All In, and has gone from being a hot indie prospect to becoming one of the brightest stars in the promotion, and vitally feuding with some of the biggest stars in the promotion. And one of AEW's most impressive accomplishments is their long-term storytelling, in my opinion, and MJF is probably the best example of it. His feuds with Cody and with Jericho were both excellent long-term stories and impeccably timed. So if you're looking for long-term storytelling, something for CM Punk to really sink his teeth into, there aren't many better options right now in AEW than MJF. I mean, just think of the promos. I'm getting hyped already. They would be so good. MJF and Punk going up against each other. And MJF has the pinnacle around him, a faction full of amazing talent that by and large Punk has never worked with. I mean, I think Spears is the only one he has worked with, and that was way back in OVW. But you're talking Tully Blanchard, amazing promos. You're talking FTR, amazing tag team matches. Even Wardlow versus Punk interests me. The big man, small man thing, trying to overcome the odds. There's an amazing long-term story to be told here between MJF and Punk, and one that could put MJF to the very, 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 very top of the company, and one in which would excite CM Punk. Fresh talent to work with, exciting storylines to be told. Number 3, the main event. Let's be real, AEW aren't bringing in CM Punk to bolster their mid-card. They want him for pay-per-view main events. They want it, the fans want it, the mainstream people coming in want to see it. He is going to be one of the top-tier stars. And when it comes to performers with enough clout to make that happen, AEW does have plenty of options. Your Kenny Omegas, your John Moxleys, your Chris Jerichos, your Malachi Black, some guy maybe called Bryan Danielson or something. There's people there to work with, but the one I'd potentially be most excited for seeing in a main event feud with CM Punk would be Cody Rhodes. Now, a caveat, obviously Cody and Punk know each other. They've wrestled each other before. They wrestled each other in WWE countless times, all the way back to when they were both in OVW together. But let's not pretend that the Cody you see now is the same Cody as before. Since leaving WWE, Cody is a completely different beast to what he was. He's different to that slightly vanilla, not much going on second generation talent that WWE was so keen to sort of tell us about. Look, he's Dusty's son. That's enough to get him over, right? And yeah, I know he did the supervillain stuff, he did the hideous stuff. These were all good things, but in general, there wasn't much going on with him. Totally different now. He's a franchise player. He's an EVP in AEW. He's someone that the promotion has been built from and around since the very beginning. He's had foundational feuds with Darby and with MJF to allow them to ascend to where they are today. In many ways, Cody Rhodes is AEW. And this is the key. It's basically the perfect counterbalance to the DIY aesthetic Punk. His voice of the voiceless versus the second generation legacy carrier. I mean, Cody's presentation is ostentatious. It verges at times on bombastically oblivious to his own garishness. He comes out draped in an American flag. He rises out of the stage, smoke everywhere, cinematic music blaring, even the lyrics to his theme song. I mean, listen to this. You took it all away, I gave it all away. Can't take my freedom. Here to change the game, a banner made of pain. I built my kingdom. Now you bow to me, you took my dreams, but not my name. You'll follow me until the end. I am my kingdom. He's no longer just billed as a second generation talent. He knows he is. He believes he is. He believes he is Dusty Rhodes. He has that legacy. He has the gravitas of the American dream. He thinks he's carrying the 10 pounds of gold around to all of the different territories. That's how Cody sees himself. I think that's a heel. He screams a heel to me. But even if you cut it and you say, right, well, he's a face in this feud, you cannot tell me that these two don't mirror each other to an extent where you could build this to a pay-per-view main event level worthy feud of a Double or Nothing and All Out, something like that. This could potentially be huge. And not only that, Cody is by far and away one of the best promos in the business today. Some of the stuff he does consistently is just wild. And then you put CM Punk up against him. Oof. I don't know what I'd be doing with myself. I don't know what we'd all be doing with ourselves. That's some tasty stuff right there. So there you have it. That's my 3 perfect opponents for CM Punk in AEW. Let me know in the comments below, how do you feel? Do you agree with me? Is there someone you're more excited to see? I mean, I've left off some big names. Your Omegas, your Moxleys, Eddie Kingston would be a bit of a banger, wouldn't it? I've left off New Japan names, as we're seeing your Okadas, your Ospreay. There's a lot of people I've left off this list. I've only picked 3. Let me know who your favorites are in the comments below. And hey, subscribe if you're new around here. Like the video. I'm attempting to do a wrestling video every single day, so come get involved. Come get involved. You know, it's a grand old time. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.